if you have a very low budget or you're just starting off, that there are different options out there. That's the biggest objective. There are different options out there, but you don't know until you go seeking, until you ask and you have these conversations, and then you have these questions and get them answered to really know how you can get a great coach that fits what you need on your budget.
Welcome to Two VAs and a Mic, your guide to making money and serving your community. In our podcast, we'll help you learn about the journey of monetizing your skills and providing your services professionally, all from the comfort of your home.
We also will talk to our business owners, authors, writers, CEOs, and solopreneurs who may use or benefit from using a VA in their business. Boil all that down to two VAs and a mic, and then mix them together with two different perspectives, flared with expertise.
What do you get? Shauntá Harris, founder of Shauntá's VA, LLC.
And Lovelee Brooks, founder of Lovelee Occasions and Etc., LLC. We are talking about the steps to finding the right mentor, even on a budget. So, one thing you guys know about me, I'm kind of long-winded. At least I feel like I'm long-winded. And I feel like I have to always start at the basics. I'm really big on foundation. If you're building your virtual assistant's business, I'm very big on making sure that you have your foundation really strong. And that means knowing your why. So there are a lot of resources that I think helps elevate some people on their journey in entrepreneurship a lot faster, a lot more successful than others. And one of them I would say is a mentor or a coach. And what brought me up to this particular topic is I do get those questions a lot of times like, hey, why do I need a coach? Or why do I need a mentor? Or if you're first starting and you come in this entrepreneurship world, because if you're like me, I didn't even know there was so many people that were coaching or mentoring. And I didn't know there were so many types of mentoring. I just knew that I wanted to start my own business, and it was during the COVID time, so we were all online. And I just knew that I wanted to start my own business. And I was trying to follow some steps that I saw on YouTube, basically. Then I started running into, actually, I still remember to this day, I put a post on one of the Facebook groups and I said, man, I just really need somebody to like bounce some advice off. Is there a virtual assistant buddy that can kind of help me navigate through all these things that I'm seeing on YouTube and my steps from, step A to step B? And I got plenty of people who commented and I got plenty of people who liked the post, but then my DMs were flooded with people who were like, hey, did you know I built this agency in this amount of time and being a virtual assistant and blah, 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 blah. And I would love to talk to you more. Well, I will be honest, at that time, I was just like, okay, well, look, there's somebody who's really taking a really good interest in me. And the fact that I'm saying I would love some more guidance or even a virtual assistant buddy, that's really kind of how I was looking at it. And I had a call with a lady, and her name is Quinice. And I remember the first call I had, I was just talking like I'm talking to you guys now. Like, you're my buddy, down to earth. Really, to be honest, I don't know how to talk really much differently. So, I'm talking, I'm like, look, there's so much to do. What should I focus on first? What did you focus on first? What kind of prices do you do? Just how are you going about it? So, she answered some of my questions, but she definitely left it very vague. And finally, she said, yeah, well, I got a program and it's such and such an amount of money. Now, one thing I will tell you guys up front, I may refer you, but I don't quote other people's prices for the simple fact that today's price may not be tomorrow's price, or I don't always know what they got going on at that time period. So anyway, she gave me a price and I was like, oh, so I have my blonde moments, you guys. And at that point, it's like the light bulb finally went off, and I was like, oh, I gotta pay just to have somebody tell me if I'm gonna do this right or do this not right, or, which way. And that was a new concept for me. I mean, coming from corporate, that was just a new concept for me. And as I have continued on this journey, it's been very interesting because there is a mentor or a coach for everything. And I'm just kind of like, wow, that's amazing. I would have never thought that was what happened. So, anyway, like I'm sure some of you guys were, I was like, first of all, I just started this. I didn't have any clients at that time. I'm like, why am I going to pay money just to have someone tell me what I feel like I can figure out on YouTube? Well, I will say she was very persistent. So this is where your follow-up comes in. I would tell anybody, make sure that you are doing your follow-ups really well, because 110%, the main reason why I gave it a go was because she was persistent. And I thought about it, and she kept telling me everything that she offers. And I thought about it, but I'm like, I can figure this out. And after a while, it was like, you know what? Nothing is getting any better. So, yeah, why don't I go ahead and try this out? And because she was persistent, at that time, she was the only other one who was still continuously talking to me. Whereas the other ones, they did have, they were in my DMs, but we never kind of went any further. There was no follow up. There was no follow up to the follow up. So if you don't follow up with me, my mind is going a million different ways at a million different times. So a lot of times I'm going to either forget about you, or, well, quite honestly, I'm just probably going to forget about you. And I did not forget about her because she would not let me forget about her. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. I will go ahead and try this out. So that's what we did. We tried it out. She did her program at that time within 3 months. They were in 3 months increments. So I did the first 3 months and did the payments. And by the end of the first quarter that I worked with her, I was completely booked out, and I was starting to look at outsourcing. So, what I want to say to that is, does that mean that's going to be everybody's story? Absolutely not. There's a few misnomers that I would love to sit here and just say right now. One, just because you have a coach or a mentor, you have to do the work. So they're there to guide you. It's kind of like your personal GPS. And I feel like they offer so many wonderful things. One, they're offering that one-on-one guidance that you need. Everyone's journey is different. But if you ultimately would love to do or want to be, the fastest way to get there is by mimicking somebody who's already where you would like to be at. So that is a saying that I hear all the time, and it's very true, and it proved to be true. One, my questions were answered. When you have confusion because you're not sure which step you should do next, this person has already been through those steps. So they can at least tell you what steps they would do next and why, which makes your clarity so much clearer for you to just continue on your path. The other thing is, I'm not going to say I don't think I would be as successful without her, but it definitely would have taken me a much longer time. That part is no doubt. I would still be trying to figure out certain things today that I was able to figure out with her either after a week or after a month and get it done. One of the other things, and I can almost give an example of this, I had a potential client, And I did not know what to charge them. What was in my head to charge them, and then what she told me to go charge was two completely big different things. So I will also say having that mentor there helped me make a lot of mistakes or help me from jipping myself out, if you will. So, all in all, definitely worth the funds. In fact, after I finished my first session of the 3 months, I went ahead and booked my second 3 month session with her. So, I worked with her for 6 months, and there is no way I can sit up here and tell you that I would be where I'm at now if I didn't have her guidance. Now, I'm the one who actually did the work, but the guidance, I didn't have it and I needed it. So I got my money back in money that I feel like I would have lost by undercharging. One, I got my money back in the clients that I was able to bring on since working with her. Two, and you just have knowledge. I mean, once you have that knowledge and the education and those resources, that was another thing. She also offered a lot of resources that I did not have to start from scratch. So that saved me time, and that or saved me money by either purchasing it separately or having to spend time to look for where I can use it or double checking to make sure I have it or missing out on mistakes because I didn't include it in my contract and then it cost me money in the long run. So I like to break it down that way for a simple reason. I like to break it down that way because I like for people to understand why people charge for mentoring and coaching and why would it even be something that is important for you to have. So I feel like I'm really big on the why. So I see we have Jennifer up here. Jennifer, do you have a share or something that you want to talk to what I just said there?
Good morning. No, I was listening and I'm just like, you know, I would have to say that before I started my virtual assistant journey, which was, I want to say November, December last year, I did invest into a course, which is how I was further exposed about virtual assistants. And the course didn't give everything it was supposed to give. And I say that because I am an overthinker, and so for somebody else, that course probably was more than enough, right? But I need a little more hand holding because my mentality is based on perfectionism. Trying to work through that. Um, so don't come for me, y'all. But at this rate, I've invested, let me see, I want to say before I joined with you, Lovelee, I believe I got something else, but it wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But your program has helped me immensely since, when did I start with you? May or June? I don't even remember.
And I want to say for you, I think it was June.
It was June. Okay.
So
Since June, like, because I go in the chat and just go off about what's going on or what I plan on doing. And whenever I get a chance to speak to you, I definitely, share. But it's really because, one, you are very, very resourceful. But aside from that, you think outside the box. And what really, really helps me to share and to ask and to get as much as possible is because, one, you hold us accountable, but also it's easy to trust you, which is not easy, something not easy for me to do at all, by the way. But it is, it's a breath of fresh air. And I just want to say thank you. So thank you for being my mentor on a budget, okay?
that's funny. This is not a paid sponsorship or testimony, you guys. So I do thank you, Jennifer. And yes, I am passionate. I think people need mentors and coaches Most of them. I'm never going to say all. Everybody's situation is different. So I'm never going to be like, oh, everybody needs one. But I do think the majority of us can use one in whatever area that we are not as strong in. So that brings me to the actual steps of finding a mentor. And then we're going to talk about those options on a budget. But I did want to touch on the why I personally feel like having a mentor or a coach is so extremely important, especially it's like your GPS. It really is. It's like your GPS. You may know where you want to go. I may say, "Hey, I want to be six figures. I want to be seven figures," or "I don't really care about that part. I want to make a bigger impact doing this." Either way, you may know your goal and you may know where it is you want to go. But when you're first starting out, or when you're not even first starting out, when you're in the middle of things, you're going to come into some roadblocks, you're going to come into some obstacles. And then that's where that mentor or that coach helps you because they've already been through it. They've already had a very similar path. So they can guide you and they have that one on one with you. So, what I just want to say, so we are on the steps. I went over the why you may want to be looking into a mentor or coach. Now, I want to actually get into the steps since that is actually the topic. For me, my first piece of advice would be I'm really about the right fit. And that goes for any and everything. I do think that's been amplified since I've been an entrepreneur. And there's so many of us online that is so important that you find the right fit. Right fit client, right fit team member, right fit mentor or coach, right fit. That's the thing. Foundation, right fit, those things are important. So, one of the ways you can do that, of course, like you may be doing today, is just going through social media, rather it's Clubhouse, going through Instagram, wherever. And then I always say stalk them for a little bit. I'm not usually a big one to just jump into someone's DM and say, "Hey, I like that one particular post that you posted and I want to work with you." Now, if you feel like that and you feel like, "Hey, that's going to work for me," go for it. But I would say anyone who's skeptical, and especially since we're talking about affordability, make sure that you listen to that person. Make sure that you know what it is that you're looking for as well. We also have a course, and I would say for many people, the course is going to give you maybe in depth instruction. But if you're like me too, Jennifer, I like that one on one because you're right. I'll interpret that same sentence five different ways. And I need to get clarity on which way did you mean it and which way should I actually implement it. And then I might get your opinion and throw it all in the back seat and still decide to go left. But I just want to know. I want to have that personalized touch. So know about what it is you're looking for. There are different ways to mentor, and you may just need an actual course. Maybe you don't feel like you need a one-on-one. Maybe you just want to know the technicalities on how to actually do something. So I would say if that's the case, then that would be very helpful for you. It's just looking into a course or so forth. But I would also say you want to have support. Coaches and mentors also, they give you that support. Some of us don't have as much support as others. I've ran into people where their family, they don't really support their entrepreneurship, what they want to do, or whatever their goal is. And I keep saying entrepreneurship because I'm just thinking about what's closest to myself, but I mean, there's coaches for all kinds of things, lost journey, relationship builders. So anything out there that you feel like you may need somebody to help walk through that journey with you, you would have a coach or a mentor. So understand that they're also providing you support. Whatever journey that you're going on, it's probably not the easiest journey. Journeys aren't easy to begin with. But then if you are choosing a goal, there's probably some obstacles or maybe a reason why you haven't reached it either as fast as you would like, or maybe you don't have the skill set that's needed. There's something lacking there usually. And that's why you would also look for a coach. Not quite there. Maybe you know how to get there. Maybe you don't even have the vehicle to get there. Sometimes we want things and we don't have the skill set, whatever that case is. Maybe we don't have the discipline. Maybe we don't have the mindset. There is a million and different reasons why this may be a little bit challenging for us. So, if that is the case, your coach or mentor is also providing you with support, one on one guidance. So, you can have somebody in that journey, especially if you feel like you don't have as much support and that people around you are maybe not as supportive as you would like. You will need that to help you succeed. I know we like to say, oh, I did it by myself. I did it, alone, but we all need somebody. There is going to be a day where you need someone's help, or maybe you're tired, you're frustrated, ready to give up. And that's why you're going to need to turn around and be like, hey, I need someone to help bring me in right now and say, it's going to be okay. Let's just reset and let's do this. So that happens a lot as well. So the steps are for me, first one, just know what you need. That's always going to be the first step. Because if you don't know what you need, you're going to have a hard time finding what it is you need. So if you need somebody to help you with a certain skill set, if you need somebody to help you with a certain mindset, if you need somebody to help you or just have more support, know exactly how much of those things and which of those things are priority. I would also say know what you're looking for as far as like beliefs, the personality itself. What is actually going to work with you? Because everybody is not for everybody. So it is very helpful if you know what it is you need. Like, I'm not the most trusting person either. I'm not big, especially when you start talking about online. A lot of us have this. It's kind of like, okay, some of these coaches or some coaches are wanting you to pay several $1,000s, then you definitely need to feel like you trust them. You also may want to ask them, in this program, am I going to be working directly with you? I've heard some stories where people are like, okay, well, I signed up for their coaching program, but they weren't actually there. So try to think of some of those questions and what it is you need. Is that going to be a deal breaker for you? Is that what you're looking for? So again, it goes all the way to what is it you're looking for. After you kind of know what you're looking for, then I would say start the search, right? I would say that's step number 2. Start the search. You can do that by certain books. You can do that on social media. You can ask your own network, hey, I'm looking for so and so or this and this. Where do you think I could find that at? Or do you know someone who's really good at so forth, you know? So start the search. You can let them know what it is that you're looking for because you've already thought about it. And then once you do that, I would say just watch them for a little bit. Rather that's, a month and a half, maybe it's 3 months, whatever the case, so you can feel like you trust them. You're willing now to step up and give it a shot. So I would say that would be the next one. After you kind of stalk them for a while and you're like, yep, this is the one for me. Then I would say usually there's several different ways that mentoring and coaching comes through. So and I'm going to use my example first because there are so many different ways because coaches are going to do their packages in all different ways. So we have the name of it is the Virtual Assistant Lounge. It's a membership. So what you may need is just a simple membership to start off. You may not need one-on-one coaching. And what does that membership offer? Does the membership actually offer any type of way that you can have some one-on-one time directly with the coach? Some of them do, some of them don't. But I would say that may be actually cheaper than a one-on-one package where you're like, okay, I want 6 weeks of this set amount of time blocked for just me and you to work specifically with whatever my problem is, or my obstacle, or my situation, or with my journey. Because I don't like the way that sounded. Whatever my problem is. But whatever I'm dealing with in my journey at that time. That's usually going to be a higher amount than maybe a membership. And it just depends on how it's formatted. So if you're on a budget, because like I started off, there's a lot of people who will say, I am just starting my business. How can I afford a mentor or coach? I don't even have any clients. It comes in several different ways. And coaches package these in different ways as well. So make sure you're looking at all the different ways. Look at the memberships. You may not have to have one on one. Make sure you book that call, have that consultation so you can tell them what your expectations are, what you're looking for, and what you're needing as well. And if you're able to do that, then they may be able to tell you, okay, well, we have something just specifically for people who are starting off. And that membership may just be $27, which that's what our membership is. Or it may be more, it may be $125. But make sure you book those calls and you get information and you figure out what it is that the pricing is and what your budget is and what you can do. Because I think sometimes when we hear coaching and we hear one on one, I don't know about you guys, but I will say for me, I have met a lot of 7-figure coaches, and the prices may be rather out of budget for someone who's just starting off. And I also want to say this. I think, and this can be controversial, I do believe that sometimes you grow out of your coach. So if you're just starting and you get a coach, and let's say you get a coach that's maybe, I'm going to say, you know, entry level, you're starting off with them. You may get to a point where you feel like, okay, now I want someone else's perspective. I want someone who's doing something even more than that. I want to go beyond maybe what they're talking about. Maybe now I don't just want to do coaching on just specifically virtual assisting because that's what came up. Maybe now I want a coach that's also going to take me more on the business back end and talk to me more about business credit and how to move that. Every coach has strengths and weaknesses in different areas. You may have a coach that can do all of it, but you also may need to go get a different coach. So I will say that all coaches do not necessarily have you at the same level, and you may have to get different coaches at different times for different things. So I will say that as well. My basic thing and the objective of this conversation is also for everyone to understand that if you have a very low budget or you're just starting off, that there are different options out there. That's the biggest objective. There are different options out there, but you don't know until you go seeking, until you ask and you have these conversations, and then you have these questions and get them answered to really know how you can get a great coach that fits what you need on your budget. So make sure that you have definitely went through those steps, which you want to make sure that you're writing down exactly what it is you need and your expectations from a coach, all the way down from the personality, and then start the search, and then book those calls, get that information, have those consultation calls. A lot of people have free consultations. Not everybody, but a lot. So make sure you're booking those calls. You ask those questions and you let them know what it is you're looking for. And then you go against your budget because there are coaches and mentors from all different scales of affordability. So I just don't want people thinking, "Oh, I just can't do it." So that is my biggest thing there. One more thing. See, I thought about some stuff and I'm like, one more thing. So I do want to go ahead and also let people know, in addition to the coach that I had when I first started, on my journey, I ended up getting a pitch coach. I did get a pitch coach. That was extremely helpful. If you guys were here at the very, very beginning, I was actually talking about how sometimes I feel like I'm long winded. And I personally think your pitch is so important because you have to be able to explain what it is you do very well in a short amount of time. And to people who aren't even very aware of this virtual space, I would always run into people and be like, "A virtual assistant, what is that? Can you tell me what you do again?" So then it would go into this long spiel, just long, long, long spiel. And I still don't know if half of them got it after I would spill everything that it is I do and how I do it. So that's a perfect example. I only really needed to see him maybe once, or I think we met twice. I only had to see him twice. And we were able to come up with a really good pitch, and we actually created it in different length forms. So that was extremely helpful. I was really, really excited about that. So there are so many different coaches and mentors that do so many different things. I mean, I couldn't even believe there was one specifically just for pitching, but there is. So anything that you guys feel like you may need improvement on, just know there's a coach or a mentor out there for that. The only other thing I would say is, what is Lovely Occasions and Etc. doing? So I already told you guys, make sure that you follow us on YouTube and subscribe. We are also there. We are working very hard on a workbook right now. It's going to be a series of 3. The first workbook is talking about setting up a very strong foundation for your virtual assistant business. So, if you are thinking about starting a business from home, if you are thinking about being a virtual assistant, which is just an independent contractor who works remotely and offers professional services, then this will definitely be the workbook for you. You will be able to find it on Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble. And like I said, we have been working very hard on it. So, but it should be coming to you here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. If you are looking for a mentor, there's no way I can have a topic like this and not obviously tell you more about what we offer. We do have a membership community, the Virtual Assistant Lounge. It starts off at just $27 a month or $300 for the year. We have templates, we have trainings, so you get access to those information. I would just highly suggest that you just go ahead and click on the link, book a call, and have a conversation on what your needs are and what best will fit for you, because we do also have an actual course. So we have all types of things to help people who are virtual assistants have thriving careers. That is my personal goal right there. I don't want you to just feel like you have a hobby. I want you to feel like you have a career that you actually created from home, that is providing you the finances that you need, the flexibility you need, the time that you need. I just really want you to have a thriving career. Thank you for listening to 2 VAs and a mic.
I'm Shauntá Harris.
And I'm Lovelee Brooks. Until next time.
Until next time, peace.